So if you're an early riser, you can have darshan of Jagannath in the morning. If you are a late night owl, then you can go and see Lord Jagannath and have darshan, who has kept himself available for that darshan through Badashringar Vesh late at night also. People may say, Arey, I'm a party animal, so I cannot get up in the morning and go for darshan. हम तो रात के राजा हैं. So Jagannath ji is saying, oh, you like night? So I'm also available at night. You want to do party? You can come and have my darshan in Badashringar Vesh. Jagannath Puri Dham is one of the most attractive and wonderful dhams to take shelter of in this age of Kali.
Hello everyone, this is Kashish Rai and welcome to Jagran English. The Jagannath Puri Rath Yatra is a religious and cultural spectacle that is celebrated in Puri every year, attracting numerous devotees and tourists not only from India but around the world. On that note, today we have with us a very esteemed guest who will enlighten us about the splendor of Sri Jagannath Puri Dham and the Rath Yatra procession. I wholeheartedly welcome the monk with action, His Grace Gauranga Das Prabhu, who is a member of ISKCON's Governing Body Commission, Director of ISKCON's Govardhan Eco Village, and an ex-IIT engineer turned monk. Prabhuji also serves as an inspirational speaker, spiritual leader, corporate coach, environment leader, social reformer, and academician. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, we welcome you to Jagran English.
Jai Jagannath.
Jai Jagannath. So, to start with the interview, Prabhuji, can you please enlighten us about the significance and history of Sri Jagannath Puri Dham Rath Yatra?
So, Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago in Dwapar Yuga, and he appeared in this world for two purposes. Premarasa niryasa korite aswadan, ragmarga loke bhakti korite pracharan. Krishna came to taste love and to teach love. Now, when Krishna performed his pastimes, his Bal Leela and Pauganda Leela in Vrindavan till the age of 11. And then after that he went to Mathura and then he went to Dwarka. So total 129 years he performed pastimes on this planet. Now when Krishna left Vrindavan, he had told the Brajavasis that I will return back very soon. The Brajavasis were totally immersed in love of Krishna. What is the meaning of love? Love means selfless service. Love means ability to accept personal pain to give others pleasure. So therefore Krishna experienced the love of the Brajavasis who, in the midst of scarcity, impediment, discomfort, unhappiness, continued to serve and please Krishna even though he disappeared from Vrindavan and went to Dwarka. So it is described that just like examination tests a student's knowledge, the gold testing stone or kasoti tests the gold or purity of gold. There are various kinds of tests for various things. What are the two things which test love? Love is tested by two things. First is uncertainty and second is separation. So when Krishna left Vrindavan, he said, I will return, but he did not give an exact date and time when he would return. So the Brajavasis experienced massive degree of uncertainty and tremendous intense deep separation. But in spite of that, their feelings for Krishna continued. And then Krishna returned back to Kurukshetra along with an army from Dwarka. And when the Brajavasis heard that Krishna is coming to Kurukshetra, all of them went from Vrindavan to see Krishna. And Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Mai, Srimati Radharani, all the gopis went. And when the Radharani and Srimati Radharani and the gopis saw Krishna in the mood of Dwarkadhish, wearing opulent clothes, royal clothes, being in the midst of a huge army, having weapons, so all of them got very bewildered. And all of them explained to Krishna that we love seeing you in your Nandanandan Shyam Sundar form, and we don't like to see you in this opulent royal form. This royal opulent form is not conducive for exchanges of intimate love. Brindavan Govardhan Yamuna Pulinavan Sei Kunje Rasa Adikalila Sei Brajer Brajajan Mata Pita Bandhugan Bada Chitra Kemone Pasarila. Oh my dear Krishna, it's astonishing that for 100 plus years you have left Vrindavan Dham and you have not even remembered Vrindavan, Govardhan, Yamuna, the forests, the kunjas where we perform pastimes, the Ras Leela dance which we performed. You have forgotten the Brajavasis. You have forgotten Mata, Pita, Bandhugan, Badachitra. How come you could forget this? So now that they see Krishna, it is the fulfillment of their heart that Krishna has appeared after so many years of separation. But the form and the flavor in which Krishna has appeared is not appealing to them. So Srimati Radharani, when she sees Krishna in a royal form, she is very upset. Till then she had hope to be reunited with Krishna. But now when she sees that Krishna is in this Kshatriya Bhav as Dwarkadhish, she is completely hopeless and helpless. And then she does not even make any effort to actually try to convince Krishna to come to Vrindavan. Seeing Srimati Radharani in that state, all the gopis, the damsels who are assisting and supporting Srimati Radharani, they come together and they create a mental chariot. And in that chariot, they place Krishna, who is in the form of Dwarkadhish, and say that we will drag you from this Dwarkadhish Rupa in Kurukshetra and bring you to your Shama Sundar Nandanandan Swarupa in Vrindavan. So all of the gopis, they create this mental rath and they place Krishna in that chariot and they are bringing that chariot back to Vrindavan. And in that, they are supporting and assisting Srimati Radharani to fulfill her desire so that Radha can be reunited with Krishna in Vrindavan. So therefore, this particular pastime where Krishna's tattva as Param Bhagwan remains the same, but still if a father is working in the police and the child is used to meeting with the father in his kurta pajama every day and suddenly the father comes with his police dress with guns and everything, the child cannot relate. So therefore, nourishment is not everything, flavor is also something. Therefore, the bhaktas also enjoy exchanging love in particular flavor with the Lord. And that is known as rasa. And in order to bring Krishna into the Vrindavan ras, the gopis, to assist Srimati Radharani, bring him in a chariot to Vrindavan. So, in commemoration of this pastime, in Jagannath Puri, the Jagannath Temple, the main Jagannath Temple, is basically representing Kurukshetra. And the Gundicha Temple, which is at the end of the Grand Road, represents the Vrindavan forest. And therefore, when the gopis are pulling Krishna, they are pulling Krishna from Kurukshetra to Vrindavan. So all of us who pull on the Rath Yatra ropes are assisting Srimati Radharani in fulfilling her desire. And it is therefore said that a glass of water is glass of water by itself. It has the power to quench thirst. But the value of the glass of water is enhanced depending on the context in which it is presented. If you present a glass of water to somebody who has just had a full meal, he may drink it, but it's not that he's desperate for it. But if there is a dying soldier on a battlefield who is crying for a glass of water, that glass of water can be life-saving for that soldier. So similarly, here in Kurukshetra, Srimati Radharani is in her most helpless and hopeless state. And therefore, when she sees that anyone is trying to assist me, help me, support me in my desire to bring Krishna from Kurukshetra to Vrindavan, she experiences the maximum joy, satisfaction, and transformation within her heart. So therefore it is said, where much is given, much is expected. And so Srimati Radharani is in her most magnanimous form when she sees that the devotees are assisting her to bring Krishna into a form with whom she can relate. So therefore Srimati Radharani very, very carefully observes all those bhaktas, all those devotees who are trying in this effort to bring Krishna from Kurukshetra to Vrindavan, in other words, pulling on the rope of the Rath Yatra, and patra apatra na dekhi na dekhi sthana sthan, and not considering any of qualification or disqualification, Srimati Radharani overflows with great compassion and bestows her divine mercy to each and every person who is part of this wonderful event and festival in any shape or form. And therefore, the significance of Rath Yatra is, it is a great opportunity for somebody to receive unlimited mercy of Srimati Radharani by being strategically present and assisting in what is most dear to her. It is also said, at the moment of death, all the various images which we have gone through, experiences we have gone through, will flash in front of our mind, image after image. But then, at the moment of death, if anybody has actually pulled on the Rath Yatra rope, touched the Rath Yatra rope, assisted in pulling the Rath of Lord Jagannath freezes the frame at that moment during death. And so a person is able to remember Lord Jagannath and go back to the spiritual world. And therefore, it is described that amongst all the forms of the Lord in this Kali Yuga, Lord Jagannath is Patita Pavan and one of the most magnanimous and merciful forms of the Lord. And therefore, this is one story about why this particular pastime is held in Jagannath Puri and why the Rath Yatra is held in Jagannath Puri. The second pastime is that when Krishna and Balram and Subhadra are in Dwarka, the queens of Dwarka approached Rohini, who was the only person who was there in Vrindavan and seeing all of Krishna's pastimes, being a confidant of Yashoda Mai. So the queens of Vrindavan and Devaki, they all approach Rohini and say, can you share Krishna's Bala Lila? Athanyatapi Krishnasya Toka Charitam Adbhutam Manusham Lokam Asadya Tat Jatim Anurundhata. That amongst different pastimes of Krishna, Krishna's pastimes in his Bala Lila are one of the most enchanting and attractive. And so they are very eager to hear. So Rohini says, I am ready to share these pastimes, but on one condition. Krishna, Balram and Subhadra should not hear these pastimes, because these pastimes where Krishna exchanges loving reciprocation with the Brajavasis is so enchanting, so attractive, that Krishna himself will not be able to control his emotions, and there is further danger that hearing about Braj and the Brajavasis and Brajavasis' love, Krishna may sit upon a chariot and run to Braj. So therefore, let us close the doors. So they closed the doors of the palace, and as they closed the doors of the palace, the pastimes was being spoken by Rohini to all the queens, 16,108 queens of Dwarka, along with Mother Devaki. At that time, Subhadra was coming and she was about to enter. No, first Krishna came. And as Krishna came, he wanted to enter. And then he just opened the door a little bit and he heard about the pastimes of the Brajavasis with him. And Rohini was speaking with so much of emotion. When Krishna heard that pastime, he became overwhelmed with love. He could not control his emotions. His hands went into his form. His legs and feet went into his form. And his eyes became dilated. Balram came there, and when Balram saw Krishna like that, he couldn't understand, and he heard the pastime, and then he also became completely transformed with big eyes and hands and legs gone into his body. And then Subhadra Maya came, and she also experienced that transformation of love. Therefore, Krishna, Balram, and Subhadra wanted to demonstrate that the most powerful power in this world is the power of love. The greatest, most successful conquest we can have is conquest by love. And Krishna is conquered by the love of the Brajavasis. And therefore, these three forms of Krishna, Balram, and Subhadra, they are now known as Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra. And they underscore a very important principle, that love is beyond geography, love is beyond time, love is beyond space, love is beyond any kind of hierarchy, love is beyond family, love is beyond any formality. Love is the most powerful principle in this world, and love can conquer even the most powerful, the Supreme Lord. And therefore, evam sandarshita hyanga harina bhritya pachyata swabhashenapi krishnena yasyedam seshwaram bhushe. In order to demonstrate this principle, that Harina, that Lord Hari, bhritya paschata, comes under the control of his devotees' love, many times Krishna performs such pastimes. So when on the Rath Yatra day, if you are seeing the form of Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra, or if you happen to visit Jagannath Puri and take darshan of Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra, when you take darshan of their forms, those forms should remind you of the power of pure, unadulterated, unalloyed, completely, totally dedicated, absorbed love of the Brajavasis for Krishna. And what power love has to transform and influence even the supreme, all-powerful controller, that is Lord Krishna himself. So therefore, when Lord Krishna, you add the pure love of the Brajavasis to Lord Krishna, then Krishna takes the form of Lord Jagannath. That Krishna, who is completely conquered by love of the Brajavasis, is Lord Jagannath. And Krishna, who is trying to conquer Lord Jagannath with his love and devotion through his kirtan, is Lord Chaitanya. And he would come and perform pastimes every year during Rath Yatra, along with his devotees who would come from Bengal. So these are the two significant pastimes connected to Rath Yatra. And today, for the last so many centuries, Rath Yatra has been successfully held. Previously, there used to be a river which would flow in between the Grand Road, and then the Rath would be brought, and after it would come, they would transfer Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra in 3 boats, cross the river, and then there would be a new set of Raths on the other side, and they would continue and complete. So people are nowadays talking about organization and corporatization, governance, corporate, administration, systems. But even before the first corporates manifested, the oldest examples of systems and governance are in the temples. And therefore, Jagannath temple's worship has been going on unprecedented, uninterrupted for years and years, centuries and centuries. And therefore, we should not underestimate the power of temples in India to be able to actually share with us the perfect models of governance, the perfect models of administration. And therefore, Jagannath Rath Yatra is the largest state-sponsored Vaishnava festival, where practically the entire Odisha government state machinery is deployed to make sure that the pilgrim experience is highest and any kinds of safety regulations are properly implemented. So therefore, if any of you have not experienced Jagannath Rath Yatra at Jagannath Puri, let me tell you that I have attended many Rath Yatras over many years. If you have ever heard the word excitement or exciting, The word exciting perfectly fits Jagannath Rath Yatra in Jagannath Puri on the day of the Rath Yatra. So therefore this year the Rath Yatra is happening on the July 7th. And if any of you are looking for real excitement and real ecstasy with respect to offering prayers to the Supreme Lord, the Lord of the universe, then Jagannath Puri is the place to go and experience that. And the good news is there are thousands and thousands of room nights available in hotels. And somehow or the other, even if you are last minute, I'm sure you will be able to find accommodation, even if you make a last minute decision to go to Jagannath Puri for Jagannath Ji's Rath Yatra to experience the highest excitement of your life.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for enlightening us about the same. I never knew that Sri Radharani also has a major role to play in the Jagannath Puri Rath Yatra. And thank you so much for enlightening our viewers about the accommodation and other process to attend the Rath Yatra as well. So, yeah, moving forward, I would like to ask you another question. Like, it was on my mind also. Jagannath Puri Temple is the only temple where rice is consumed on Ekadashi. Like when Vaishnavas fast, we are abstained from consuming grains and other things, but rice is consumed in Jagannath Puri. So what is the legend associated with this custom? I wanted to know that.
See, Ekadashi Devi is a servant of Lord Vishnu, and therefore Lord Jagannath is very, very mysterious personality, and the ordinary regular thought process cannot be applied there. There is a pastime of Sripad Ramanujacharya who came there and he wanted to change the system of worship. And the king was also favorable, but that night Jagannath appeared and took Ramanujacharya and placed him somewhere in Kovur near Kaveri. And he found himself out of that Jagannath Puri only. So therefore, the regular things do not work here. And Ekadashi Devi has been hung upside down in Jagannath Puri. And therefore, what is regularly seen in other places in Jagannath Puri, there are special pastimes which have happened, which are connected to Lord Jagannath Ji. And so the local Jagannath Puri residents have different relationship and rasa with Lord Jagannath, which we being outsiders in terms of the tradition, in terms of understanding that mood, we will not be able to relate and understand. So we should be very clear that we should follow our tradition sincerely, strictly, and we are developing a relationship with Lord Jagannath in the mode of awe and reverence. Whereas those who are residents and those who are worshippers, those who are priests, they have a very different level of intimacy with the Lord, which is very difficult to understand. So therefore, we should understand the puja adhikar of different categories of worshippers and choose appropriately.
Thank you so much for answering the question, Prabhuji. So, moving forward in line, I would like to ask you that the Nabakalebara ceremony, which is the recreational ceremony of the deities at Sri Jagannath Puri Dham, is held. So, what is the philosophical significance of this ceremony?
So, the Nabakalebara is once in 12 years, Lord Jagannath accepts a new form, and the Brahma, the Nabhi Brahma of Lord Jagannath is transferred from the old one to the new one. From one perspective, because those deities are made out of wood, Lord Jagannath is non-different from that. So therefore, it is described in the Shastra, the Lord can appear either in stone or in wood or in painting or any kind of form on earth. So here Lord Jagannath is known as Daru Brahma, and the Nabhi Brahma is the one which represents the spiritual potency. And once in 12 years, a whole ceremony is conducted by which a search party is assigned to search for the right tree. And Lord Jagannath appears in their dream and directs them which place to go. And then they go to that place and they'll find that particular tree. And there are certain symptoms of a snake being there and this and that, by which you'll identify that this is the tree. And therefore for Jagannath Ji, for Baladev Ji and for Subhadra Maiya, they'll have specific trees from which the wood for the actual deities will manifest. So therefore, the oldest priest in the tradition in Jagannath Puri is usually given the task of helping in doing this Nabakalebara ceremony. And all the different rituals connected to the Nabakalebara ceremony are embedded in their beautiful scripture for worship, where the SOPs are written in place. So when this oldest person performs this Nabakalebara, then in some time that person also departs. And it is said that the energy and the power of Lord Jagannath is so much that it is not possible for a person to handle it. And then all of the deities, which were older deities, from whom the Nabhi Brahma has been brought to the new ones, the older deities are given samadhi or given rest in a place which is known as Koila Vaikuntha, which is one section of the Jagannath temple. And then Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra are placed there and covered with mud, and over 12 years they become part of that mud. And so this is the process which has been happening of Navakalebara. Usually 1.5, 1.6 million people come for Ratha Yatra, but when the once in 12 years Navakalebara happens, almost 2.5 to 3 million people come on the day of Ratha Yatra. So I was there for the last Nabakalebara. It was really one of the most exciting, experiences. Hare Krishna. Jai Jagannath.
Jai Jagannath. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for enlightening us about this ceremony as well. So, moving on on the last leg, I would like to ask you the question that, in your opinion, what makes Puri Dham like the most spiritually significant place? How would you describe it?
The most spiritually significant place must have the characteristic of being the most powerful and also the most merciful. So therefore, the potency of the Braj Bhakti and the Braj Prem carried in the form of Lord Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra, along with their most merciful form, where they are willing to accept the most fallen. So it is said that usually the temples and the deities are put to rest by 9 o'clock at night. And the best dress of the lords are usually in the morning. But in Jagannath Puri, Lord Jagannath wears the best dress at night, around 10:30, 11 o'clock, and it's called Badashringar Vesh. And all the different demigods also come for that darshan. And all through the day, the human beings are doing worship, and all through the night, the demigods are worshipping Lord Jagannath. And therefore, sometimes people may say, Arey, I'm a party animal, so I cannot get up in the morning and go for darshan. Hum to raat ke raja hain. So Jagannath Ji is saying, oh, you like night? So I am also available at night. You want to do party? You can come and have my darshan in Badashringar Vesh. So therefore, he is so merciful to the souls of Kali Yuga that nobody can ever say that, I am not interested in Lord Jagannath's darshan because I don't find a favorable time. So if you are an early riser, you can have darshan of Jagannath in the morning. If you are a late night owl, then you can go and see Lord Jagannath and have darshan, who has kept himself available for that darshan through Badashringar Vesh late at night also. So therefore, Lord Jagannath is also somebody whose hands never go dry. It's always wet. So in Kali Yuga, mostly people are not in, Pranamay, Manomay, Vigyanmay Kosh, Anandamaya Kosh, but most people are in Annamaya Kosh. So Lord Jagannath also, Chappan Bhog is offered, and all through the day he is eating. His hands are wet. And therefore, the whole city practically can be fed. Irrespective of how many pilgrims come, nobody will go hungry in Jagannath Puri. And therefore, because he is most powerful and he is the most merciful, Jagannath Puri Dham is one of the most attractive and wonderful dhams to take shelter of in this age of Kali. Jagannath Puri Dham ki, Sri Sri
Jai.
Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maiya ki.
Jai. Oh my god, that was so enlightening. Thank you so much, Gauranga Das Prabhuji, for not only sharing the magnificence of Sri Jagannath Puri Dham, but also telling the unknown facts, the legends associated with Sri Puri Dham and Sri Jagannath Baladev and Subhadra Maharani. So, what I'm taking away from today's discussion is that Jagannath Puri Yatra is not only a festival of love and devotion to the Lord, but it is also, dedicated to Srimati Radharani and the love of Brijvasis that they have for Lord Jagannath. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I'm really enlightened from today's session and today's interview. Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining us with
Hare
Jagran
Krishna
English.
and Jai Jagannath.
Jai Jagannath.